My name's Aaron and this is my channel Adventures. Now today I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I call veganism, which is kind of my description of vaguely vegan. The whole point of this really is that everyone has their own journey and the type of foods that you may or may not like to eat. I thought I'd just kind of explain what I've done over the years. About 2 years ago I started my journey into changing my diet. A few years before that I was kind of really unhealthy and I wasn't liking how I felt. Lethargy, overweight, just generally unhealthy within myself. I didn't feel good. So I watched a documentary called Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead. Now if any of you have seen that, it was quite compelling to me anyway. It switched something in my brain to make me think a little bit differently. But basically there was this journey and there was a few people on there that seemed to suffer with long-standing illnesses and problems, which having like a purely vegetable and fruit-based diet seemed to just change these people's lives. So I juiced for a while. The first couple of weeks thought I might actually die. This was a bit intense, but I wasn't working then, so I had pure time off, so I could just sit at home and I could have zero energy and kind of do that thing. But actually as a foodie, what I discovered was there was so many more options when I discovered fruits and vegetables and all these kind of different recipes that you could actually eat. So much more healthy and so tasty, and so the more I've done it, the better I've kind of felt. My energy levels have been better. Struggled with my weight somewhat over the years. I put on weight, I've lost weight, you know, I'm always in between something, but I think now is kind of one of my better periods of my older life, and I'm really managing to keep on top of it, and this is really just from having a mostly plant-based diet really. Personally I think no one is there to define what you do, who you are, what you are or are not, what you can or cannot be. It's nobody's business, and I don't necessarily believe in labels that everyone has for each other, you know. Maybe you're the type of person that eats fish once a month, once a year, or you eat meat at Christmas or when you're on holiday or something like that. I feel it's easy to fall off a wagon if you're purely one thing, then you don't do it, and then it all comes crumbling down, and then before you know it, you're back on the train again and you're kind of like, oh well, I've done that one thing, so I'm just going to eat meat from now on and that's going to be it really. I failed, whatever, you know. I'm now this person again. The step towards veganism, and if you're like a hardcore vegan, I get that, like I understand, like the more you find out, the more you want to educate people, you want people to know these things that you discover, and I've found out along the way, you know, there's a certain cruelty within that kind of the meat industry, the dairy industry, you know, the exploitation of various animals just for us to be alive. You know, obviously I'm alive, I haven't eaten meat for ages now, so it must be able to work. But I was hardcore carnivore really, like I honestly could not see a way that I would ever change my diet. I think it's something that we learn from a young age, and you think you can't get your nutritional values. Really can if you put your mind to it, and it's really just about changing your perceptions of food and what that means to you. Eating way less meat, you know, that was the first thing. One vegetarian dish a week, just because I had a repertoire of recipes that I know, so it's easy to shop, it was easy to cook, it's easy to live and get my quick sustenance, especially when you're busy and you're working and you're out on the road and all that sort of thing. It was like one recipe, you learn one recipe, one banging sort of veggie or vegan sort of recipe that you like, I would eat that no matter what. You know, mine was definitely Indian food was a great turner for me, because some of the best vegetarian food or vegan food is Indian food. You just start phasing stuff out. I mean, I've never been one big one for mince, so I've been using corn mince for a number of years, even before any veggie sort of options. Corn mince for bologneses and for chilies just meant I didn't get like kind of nasty knuckly bits and gristle and all that sort of stuff. Again, mine's a very selfish reason for trying this diet. But I thought I'd share with you just a few of the things that I did, but it's a slow change. You know, if everyone went vegan tomorrow, the infrastructure wouldn't handle it. So the world has to do a slow change. You know, you do veggie on a Friday, pick a day of the week, do some veggie stuff. Like, I just think like slowly changing your diet. I now feel more of a foodie because I know more about food. So all I'd recommend really is, okay, I learned one recipe, I've learned two, I've learned three, I've learned four, love this takeaway, love that thing. And you kind of start to just slowly shift and educate yourself a little bit more on what you're eating, what you put in, where your food's coming from. I got to a point where I always thought, you know, if I needed to eat meat, I could go and kill a cow, or I could go and catch fish and gut it and eat it and do all the things. Like, I thought as long as I can do that, then I should be okay to eat meat. I just no longer feel that way about it. Eating a meat-based diet, the less it makes sense. I just feel like, just by trying it, it's done really well for me anyway. I feel a lot better. I feel like my energy levels are better. You know, okay, you have to take a supplement now and then. You know, I take a vitamin tablet once a day. Or I have some Marmite, you know, really not that hard to get kind of what you need from these things. I'm not anemic, I don't feel ill. You can try stuff like, if you wanted to, you can try Floridax. You can just try a multivit once a day. Putting less labels and being less hardcore on it, I found it easier as I didn't really define it as anything. But if you do want to change to those kind of diets, there's some amazing channels that you can get some amazing recipes from. The Avant-Garde Vegan is one that I've started getting into. He's great, so definitely check out his channel. And obviously, you know, you've got all these great options now, which is Dangerous, Mackie D's and Pizza Hut and Domino's, and all these places are all like basically jumped on board, and there's all vegan options for everything. So it's never been easier to be on a plant-based diet. So maybe just give it a go for a week, see how you feel. I mean, it's worked for me, maybe it'll work for you. Don't put a label on yourself, try some new food, research a bit of like where the stuff you have been eating and are eating is coming from. Move away from processed kind of stuff. As well as the community seems like a great bunch of people, and I know people seem to think that vegans and veggies and whatever are quite annoying, but you know, you discover something and you just want to share it with the people that you love, so I thought I'd share it with you too. Anyway, if you like this video, please like, subscribe and do all the stuff. Otherwise, I'll see you for the next one. Take care, guys.